Welcome to the Long Game Podcast. If you're out here, I must be out here. Damon, I got a question for you today. Have you heard the new Elevation Worship album?
No, I didn't even know they came out.
Dude, it's insane.
It came out today?
It's crazy. It came out yesterday.
Yesterday?
I think there's like 10
Wait,
songs.
did you say goodbye yesterday?
Goodbye yesterday?
That was
No,
stupid.
that's Rhythm.
That was
But anyways,
That
it's
was
so
stupid.
good, dude.
Is it really?
It's so good.
Oh.
Every single song is amazing.
No, I was busy yesterday. I was watching the Olympics.
It's so sad, dude. So sad.
Is it
It's
good?
so good, dude.
Should we pause?
Let's pause and then come back.
No, that's stupid.
All right, we'll be back in a moment.
Boop. No.
All right, we're back.
Oh,
And
well, I think
it's so good, man.
Is it?
Like, there's so many bangers. Like, everything's amazing. Everything hits. I've been listening to it for the last day on repeat. So good.
Okay, on the way back home, I'll put it on the car.
I think for our listeners, it's probably like a month. It's gonna come out like a
I
month
know,
from
you're
now, and
gonna
they're
be
like, "Yeah, I've already heard it."
Yeah, or
It's
not,
good.
or if you haven't, maybe it's a blessing.
Sorry for yelling. There's a funeral going on right now in this church.
All right, bro. That you gotta. All right. Nah, that's.
They're probably like, "What the heck is going on?"
You're crazy. Well, speaking of, actually, there's no transition there. Look, do you like this goldfish that we found on our little table?
I mean, it's pretty great.
You should eat it. You should eat the goldfish.
I'm good. Maybe after this episode if it's really good. But I'm on a fast right now, actually, so I can't do that.
Oh, wait. Oh, it is Lent. We're currently in the season of Lent.
Mhm.
Shout out all my Catholics and non-denominational people who celebrate Lent too. Come on. Are you doing a fast for Lent right now?
No.
No.
I'm
Oh,
not.
then why are
Are
you?
you?
You're a
I'm just
liar,
playing.
bro. You're a sinner.
That was just a transition
Oh,
into the episode
it was a
because today we're talking about fasting.
I'm grateful. Can I just say I'm grateful that you took the bad transition? Like, I'm grateful you took one. You just loved me as Christ would, dying
I got
to
you,
self.
man.
I
I'm
really
here for
needed
you.
that for me today.
I'm here for you, man.
Hey, well, we're talking about fasting. Should
Mhm.
I fast? Clay, why are we talking about fasting?
Why this episode? Well, I think for a lot of Christians, they're like, yeah, I know fasting is out there. I know I should do it. I just don't. Should I do it? I know they hear that like Jesus kind of fasted. There was a bunch of like fasting in the Bible, but like, is it even safe? Like, what's the point of even fasting? And so for this episode, I really just want to break down kind of like everything that we know about fasting. Just give you guys like as much wisdom as possible. I enjoy doing fasts. I try to do one like quarterly, try to do
You
like a
enjoy
3-day fast.
fasting?
Yeah, dude, it like builds discipline. I love it. I feel like after fasting, it like builds up my immune system, and I don't know, maybe it's just in my head, but I feel like I'm sick less than a lot of people just because like my immune system is built up from fasting, and there's just like so much research on it that talks about like weight loss and health, and it really like builds a lot of discipline in me, and it gives me time to like pray to God and be in scripture more. It kind of just gives me like a reset on everything. So I'm really excited to talk about it.
Wait,
get
you
into it.
actually enjoy? That's crazy.
Yeah,
I
dude.
hate fasting.
It's tough. It's difficult in the moment. Like it's it's
in the
rough,
moment, like
but-
listen, I hate fasting, and I think most people
Mhm.
out there are like, oh man, I hate fasting. I
Mhm.
love food. I'm dependent on food to like live. Like food is good, okay? Like
Mhm.
bread is good, okay? Unless you're gluten free, then bread is
Then
not
don't
good.
eat bread.
Then you're cooked. But food is like good. You need food to live. Like, why would you fast? It just seems like, I don't know. I feel like that's the question most people are asking right now.
Yeah. Like, why would you fast? You know, I just love it because it's something difficult to build discipline. It's something that I don't really want to do. I love food. I love eating food. Like, I believe, God created food. Without food, we would die, So I'm like, I think it's a great way to worship God, a great way to like pause, like dopamine reset. And so, yeah, it's been so impactful for me. What do you know of fasting? Like, why should we fast? What are like the health impacts of it? Have you heard of other people fasting? I know we're in Lent right now.
Yeah.
What do you think? What are some overall like beginner thoughts?
Well, I think the first thing is Matthew 6 when Jesus is giving a sermon on the mount. It's like he says when you fast, not if you fast, not should you fast, but like when you fast. I think fasting is something that we should be doing as Christians. I think it's like a spiritual rhythm or discipline, whatever your church calls it. It's an essential thing to do though, actually, because I think it really, really, like Clay just said, it's like this reset. It's this like bodily cleansing, spiritual cleansing. It can really help you like reset. And I know a lot of people too who've done fasting. There's a friend of ours, his name's John. He like bro fasts all the time. And
Oh, really?
He's like He's like, I just did like a 20-day fast. I'm like, bro, you
Bro,
did
what
not.
the heck?
And like doing these crazy fasts, but he does it that because so when you're fasting, that like the point of fasting is to remove something you need to live to help you to rely on God more. So in that reliance of reading scripture, of praying more. Some people like will do it just to pray a lot more, to pray about one thing, to get discernment on whether they should marry somebody, whether they should take the job, whether they should move. Some people help them use it. Like one of the biggest things I see it as is, or two of them is one for like the kind of the discipline, getting closer to God, but then also to make a more sound decision, like Holy Spirit led.
Totally, 100%. So I know we talked about like a little bit before this episode. We're focusing mainly on abstaining from food fasting. So do you want to talk about a little bit? I know there's like other kinds of fasting. We can just touch on it real quick and then like get
Is
back into
there?
what we want
Is there
to.
other kinds of fasting?
Yeah, like I think of fasting social media is what people talk about. I don't know, fasting their phone.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think about these? Just real quick.
Yeah, real quick. Listen, I think the original context of fasting throughout, if you look in the entire Bible, it's always been food. The point of fasting is to abstain from something that you need to live on to then rely on God. Like, you don't need social media. You can just remove social media from your life. You can remove TV from your life. And like you're fine. That's actually just more of like you have an idolatry problem. Or like
Yeah.
if you're like, oh man, I need to fast from it. Like you shouldn't be on screens that much. You shouldn't be on like sweets that much. You shouldn't be, like, I don't know, like these different kinds of fasts that people come up with. Those are, I'd say those really aren't fasts for the most part. I think fasting means like the abstinence of all like food. And so when it comes to like, oh, I need to do a social media fast, no, you need to just stop like worshiping your phone.
Hmm.
Like, and that's just kind of like my take on it. Obviously, like if you need to like step away from social media for like 21, 40 days, like, yeah, you should do it. But I think we try to call all these other things fasts that aren't abstaining from food because the abstaining from food is the hardest thing to do.
I totally agree. 100%.
So Clay, what do you think what like kind of like the broader like context of like Matthew 6 and like the
Hmm.
Sermon on the Mount and Jesus talking about fasting there is?
Yeah. I really like, Jesus, he really showed extremely well, like how to eat food and talking about, I think of in like Matthew 11:19, how it talks about like doing everything with wisdom, even like eating food. And then he also does a really good job of fasting and talking about fasting. I think of his 40-day fast in Matthew 4, I believe it is. And so it seemed like Jesus had a lot to say about fasting and he thought it was extremely important. I think of, the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew 6. He talks about like, don't do your acts of righteousness to be seen or praised by other people. I have a quote, Matthew 6:1. It's, be careful not to practice your righteousness in front of others to be seen by them. If you do, you will have no reward from the Father who is in heaven. So I think that sometimes I see people fast and they're like, miserable, they're acting miserable, they're like, yeah, I'm on a fast right
Oh my
now,
God,
and they get
wait.
that like quick dopamine hit from other people. And I think that scripture makes it very obvious that like, no, it's not to be like rewarded by other people. You'll be rewarded by God who is in heaven, but don't act miserable all the time. I think about Matthew 6 16 through 18. It says, when you fast, do not look somber at the hypocrites, for they disfigure their faces to show others they are fasting. And then it goes on to say, and your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. So like, I don't know, there's people out there who they just do it for attention, do it for like dopamine hits from other people, to be complimented by other people, to act like holier than thou. And I think that when you're fasting for those reasons, you're not doing it for the right reasons. I think fasting is amazing. It's an amazing way to get closer to God and to, focus on Him. But it's not a way to be seen by other people. It's similar to, talking about like the scripture says, like, don't pray in public because you're just doing it for the praise of other people. Don't be generous in front of others because you're just doing it for the attention of people. So it's the exact same thing with fasting.
Yeah, and with that too, the Pharisees, that's what they would do. They were the ones who would legit, like with the praying, they would put a box in the market and then just pray for like an hour on end or hours on end. And same with like fasting is like they would intentionally like look awful and people would be like, oh, are you okay? And they'd be like, oh, thanks for asking. I'm fasting. And obviously let's put that in modern context. Like obviously like, don't talk about it, honestly. Like honestly, one of my biggest pet peeves, two of them are when people go like, yeah, I just just gave all this money to the poor. And I'm like,
Oh,
Why would you tell me that? Because like I think
right.
scripture is really clear. Like you, that is your reward.
Mhm.
And for if you tell me, I'm gonna be like, great, that was dumb because you lost your reward.
Uh-huh.
But same with fasting. I think Jesus is really clear. Like, hey, it's supposed to be a thing between you and God. I know there's two where like you and a mentor. I've like done fast with a mentor before, and like we're talking about how our individual fasting, but we're keeping it a secret, but just between the two of us.
Mhm.
Or I know like churches will do a fast together, like at the beginning of the year. I think those situations, like you can talk about it then with people or like within like people who you're like living in community with. But really though, I think if you're doing fasting, you should fast really between like you and the Lord, and tell no one, not even mentors, not even your closest friends, because if you want to grow intimacy with the Lord, you do things that are just between you and Him, just like you would do with a friend, and you wouldn't tell anybody.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I think too, like with that, you can like, I think honestly start slow with it. Like, I don't know, like actually before I
Mhm.
even get into that, what would you like suggest for like those who want to start? Like what's like a good spot to start maybe?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, I know a lot of people who do it for like medical reasons, and that's kind of what I do it too. I do it for spiritual and medical reasons. And I think that, you know, a great fast to try to do, to try to start out with is maybe like a 2-day fast, maybe a 1 or 2 day fast, because your body's kind of getting used to that. But my goal is always to get to 3 days of fasting, mainly for like medical reasons. Your body after 3 days, it gets into like ketosis, which means that it like starts eating at your fat cells. There's what's his name? He's Paul Blart Mall Cop. I know this is like a segue. You're not
What?
expecting it. Do you know his name?
What?
What? Who is he?
Yeah. Oh, the
Ah,
guy, the actor.
yeah, the
Bro, I
actor.
thought you meant you were gonna quote
Yeah,
something from Paul Blart Mall
no,
Cop.
bro, he's the actor.
No, I know James. No, or is that another actor? You know,
I don't
we know who
know.
he is. We know who
But
he is.
anyways, he said he just went on like a 40-day fast to lose weight. And he lost like so many, it was like 40 pounds or something. He lost a ton of weight because like after a while, your body, it just like eats at your fat cells. And like that's, I don't know, that's what it does. And so I don't know, I think it's like really good for, you know, health reasons. I'm seeing like all of this cancer research too, where like when you fast, it eats off your dead cells. And that's what cancer is. It's just like dead cells that expand. And so I'm seeing a lot of research with like people who have cancer who are using it to like help to fight cancer.
Wow. I
So
didn't
it's
even know that.
amazing.
That's
Yeah, it's
crazy.
amazing research.
Huh.
Like I kind of mentioned, it like builds up your immune system, gives your immune system a break.
Huh.
This has been huge for me. It's like I feel like after a fast, I finish the fast extremely well, and like to eat really light foods, nothing like really big that's high calorie, and I don't know. I just find that I'm a lot healthier. I feel a lot better. My immune system, I feel like it works a lot better. I don't have as many like stomach aches, not as much like nausea, sickness, even like stuffy nose or
Mm.
allergies. I don't have as much of that. So yeah, I think that like food, it can so easily become an idol for us. And if you don't believe me, like just try fasting. It's so difficult, extremely
Mm.
difficult. Like whenever I go through a fast, I I'm always thinking about food. And I'm like sitting in my room and I'm like, oh, I'm feeling down. Like, oh, I can just go eat food. And it's like, wait, no, I'm
Mm.
fasting. Can't do that. So like it builds discipline really well, you know, helps us to build humility, rely on God a bit more, like be in scripture a bit more, pray a bit more. I know people that like, you know, they go on fasts, and time that they would be eating a meal, they're praying to
Yeah.
God, being with God in that. So I think that's so
If you
healthy.
spend 20 minutes each meal, that's an extra hour a day you're praying, right?
Hmm.
That's supposed to be what you're doing. At least like that's the point. So the point of like doing something like a fast, you're supposed to be when you fast, you're supposed to have something you're replacing it with, right? So
Hmm.
when you remove something from your life, you have to replace it with something. So you remove food, what are you replacing it with? Oh, I'm gonna replace it with more time in community. I'm gonna replace it generally with more prayer or reading my Bible. So you have to just be very, very intentional. You have to have a game plan
Hmm.
going into it. Also, too, with food, I think something that's like unique that people don't, I've never really heard anyone talk about when it comes to the idea of fasting is the amount of sugar that's in everything. Not just like,
Hmm.
oh, bad food like soda and candy, which, mind you, candy, I was looking this last Halloween, candy is straight sugar and chemicals now. Like there's like
Yeah.
hardly any
You look at
cocoa or
like
milk in
soda
it.
too, and you see like how much sugar is in like a 32-ounce bottle of Coke. It's like
Yeah.
half the bottle. It's
Yeah.
crazy, bro.
And so, but most of our foods now actually like processed foods have sugar in them or have like addictive chemicals. And so part of the reason I think too why food is like so much more of an idol than it ever has been is because if you there's this app, I love it. It's called Yuka, and it's a little orange carrot, sponsored, right? No, I'm just kidding. First
This is our
Addery,
sponsor.
a
Yeah,
sponsor
first
of today's
sponsor. They're not paying us
podcast. No, I'm
anything
just kidding.
still.
No, but you do. It's and you can scan your food, like the barcode, and then it gives you a rating 0 to 100, and then it tells you why it's good or bad for you, whether it has a ton of salt or sugar. But usually it tells you like these chemicals in it. And anyway, long story short, there's these additives in all of our foods, depending on where you shop and what you get. Like some like I don't know. I had my frozen. I love frozen waffles, and I had to stop buying them because they were like I had all these like additives and sugars in them. And I thought
Mm.
it said like 2 grams of sugar, and it was like the healthiest thing. But what
Mhm.
I was doing though, I was actually kind of like relying on it for like a thing of joy. And
Mhm.
you know, when you fast and you strip away and you look at like the health implications of the food you're eating, and you take a kind of take a step away from it, it's like wow, like I feel so clean. So I think all like honestly, it's like a blessing to like take a step away from all those like chemicals that we're putting into our bodies too.
Mhm. Totally.
All that to be say and say that point and kind
Mhm.
of like reframe what you're eating. And also too, I know we got the we're gonna talk about the Daniel fast today. Do you kind of know what the Daniel fast is, or have you ever done a Daniel fast?
I haven't. I mean, not really. I know he fasted for 21 days to, I don't know, pray to God for how he should lead the Israeli people.
Take down the Babylonians.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
But not as much. I don't know
yeah,
much
no,
about it.
no, it's definitely like a it's definitely really something that's like never really talked about. I didn't know about some of the things you shared earlier, so we're both learning today. And then also we did it for 3 days as well. But he like the prophets of Babylon, or like the wisdom people of Babylon, they ate just whatever food, like whatever king of the king's feast. Then Daniel only ate like basically to translate into modern days, he ate like a vegan diet. He ate
Mm,
fruits, vegetables, and oats. You
mm,
know, and so there's people that, you know, if you want to fast for a longer period of time, I started to try it out this beginning of Lent. I had to stop for health reasons because I was like literally dying. It felt like, and I was like just like so sick. But it's like it's a better, it's instead of like fasting straight for 40 days, which is just like I don't know. In Western world, when you're like doing so much and you're, I don't know. I think you want to be safe with if you're doing machinery at work or
mhm,
if you're driving all the time. You just got to be careful with how you're fasting and
mhm.
how you know your body
Totally.
reacts to it or
Yeah,
not.
do
So,
research before fasting for
oh,
any amount
100,
of time.
yeah,
Mhm.
100%. And then too, if if you have an eating disorder too, like ask a doctor before
Yeah,
doing
that's
it.
a big
Like,
caveat. Yeah,
yeah.
it's like, yeah, you probably, I know we're talking about fasting today, but it's like consult a doctor before fasting if you have history of an eating disorder.
Or just consult a doctor at all because I'm not a doctor. I don't. I just don't take any medical advice from me ever. If not, you'll end up in the hospital
Uh,
probably. And so yeah, but he basically ate clean.
mm,
Is an equivalent, like you know, ate clean for, and obviously their diets were different back then because they were really just eating bread, a lot
mm,
of bread, and you know they
mhm,
didn't have like all these different stuff, so their diets were different. But he really just ate fruits and veggies and had a clean diet and
mhm.
like heard from the Lord through that. And obviously like there's a
Right.
death to self because you're not getting like a lot of protein in that diet, which could be unsafe.
Totally.
Yeah,
And I think like you mentioned like a lot of people they rely on food for like a dopamine hit or to
or
feel
sugar hits
better,
or
sugar hit. And I'm like, man, that kind of bothers me. I think that's like showing idolization of food. Like I just think of people, it really bugs me when people say like I'm hangry. I'm just hangry. And it's like, man, I think that shows like immaturity and lack of discipline. I don't think food should be the thing to like regulate your emotions. I think of like we have foods called like comfort foods, to like
go there.
relax.
Wow.
And man, I just think that can be like a way to numb out, another way to numb out, like another way to idolize something. I think that like if you're hangry all the time, if your emotions are always regulated by the food that you have, I think it's not a great way to numb out when really the people around you need you to like push in
Mm.
and be there for them and talk to them and have a good mood. I just don't think that like, yeah, being hangry, that's not something healthy that we should, I don't know, glorify in our culture.
Dude, that was a bar. What's kind of like your experience with like fasting, Ben? Like maybe and like what's like I don't know if you might not. What's the longest fast play game? How long have you fasted? What's the longest you've gone?
Yeah, I remember in
And
college
like
I
kind of
went.
how'd you do that?
Yeah, in college, I built up to it. And
Mm.
so I think it was like once a week I fasted for 1 day. And then my goal was to fast for 5 days. And so I got to that and I was doing a ton of research on it. And a lot of people are like, oh, is that even healthy? Like, should you
Mm.
even be doing that? And I would say, yeah, like absolutely it is. Especially if you're doing it to like lose weight. Like your body is made to eat at your fat cells after you fasted for a really long time. And so it's totally healthy. But, I was doing all this research like, am I going to be able to work out while fasting? Am I going to be able to rock climb while fasting? And I found a lot of research that says, like, yeah, like absolutely you can work out when fasting. Just like probably don't max out, don't push yourself to the limit. But if you want to maintain while fasting and work out, do some exercises that you usually do, like that's great. Like you can totally do that. My grandparents have done fasts. Like my grandma, she's done a fast for 21 days. Yeah, built up to that. And, there's so many, different instances in the Bible where like, I just think of like people I've seen in the Bible so much, like people fasted and prayed. They fasted and prayed. I think of Esther. She fasted for 3 days when she was thinking about like going to the king and ask him to not like kill the Israeli
And
people.
people did it with her too. Like
Mm.
Mordecai went back to the people, and he did it with all the people too. Like so
Mm-hmm.
many people did, groups of people did
Mm-hmm.
for
Totally.
one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever they need something from God, they went. Yeah, it's just crazy.
Yeah, I think that people, they just get like super overwhelmed by fasting and they're like, is that even like that's not even possible. But it's like people do it all the time. They like fast to lose weight and fast for health reasons. And, I know a couple of people who have done like 40-day fasts. And I think of like, Jesus, he modeled fasting really well and he did it for 40 days. I know he's like half God and half Jesus, but it's like, he did it as well and showed exactly how to do a 40-day fast and, was directly tempted by the devil during that time. And I think that that's like, when you fast, you're also going to be tempted by the devil and there's going to be some like negative thoughts that come up and you're going to realize that like you're idolizing food a lot and there may be some like dizziness and headaches. But after like 3 days, it's pretty easy. You're like,
Yeah,
oh, I don't even need to
that's
eat
what I was about
food.
to
I don't even
say.
have hunger pains anymore.
You don't even think about it.
Maybe on day 2, you're having some stomach pain. But like
Somewhere
after
between
3
day 2 and
days, your
3,
body
it's
is like,
bad.
yeah, I can just do this. Like
Mhm.
I'm fine. I don't know. I think that like people, we have the luxury right now in our culture where food is always available to us and we can just always have food. If you're hungry, you can just go to the fridge and get food instantly or DoorDash. And it's like, I don't know, people like 300 years ago, sometimes it was difficult to get food and there would be days where they would have to fast. Or there's still some like low income families today that it's like, man, there's food instability. And I think of third world countries, like they have to fast sometimes. And it's like, yeah, your body is used to going without food for a long period of time and it can. Of course, it's like, if you're thinking about going on like a 21-day fast, like do your research, talk with a doctor if you need to. Don't just decide one day, hey, I'm just going to go on a 21-day fast. Like do your own research before even getting into it.
Yeah, yeah. The longest fast I've never eaten food in my life before.
Oh, dang,
Yeah,
David. You're so holy.
yeah. Never eaten food once.
Uh-huh.
I never eat. No, the bread of life sustains me. No, I'm just kidding. It was something like 3.5 days. I think I went, and I think that like hunger pain thing, and actually you talk about pushing yourself. It was a youth night. Was it like that pivotal like third? And we did this. I was like part of the sermon illustration. I had to like run around the room, so I like ran for like it was like a 2 minutes straight. I was part of the sermon illustration, and then like I almost passed out on the stage. That was like,
Oh my gosh.
dude, it was so scary. And then I like got home and like we finished cleaning up and stuff like that, and I just went home and ate food because I just like it, and like it gets to a point like, I was fasting unto the Lord. I was doing it for him. I was trying to go 7 days. But I think too, like that you shouldn't feel like shame if you like don't hit your goal either. Like sometimes too, like I didn't cave because I was like hungry. For me, I was it was so dizzy. I felt like I was gonna like I actually felt like I was dying.
Mm-hmm.
And my body, I didn't do it right. I didn't build up to it
Mm-hmm.
really either. I just kind of like sent it and didn't drink enough water that day either. That's a big thing. When you fast, you need to drink so much water.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on what kind of fast you're doing, right? Some people do like no food and no water, which
Mm-hmm.
in Colorado, I don't know if you can do that.
Yeah, whenever I fast, I just do water and black coffee because black coffee has like very little calories. It's not gonna ruin your fast, and it's not gonna ruin like the ketosis. And
Mm.
plus, it's like it's nice to have like caffeine. in my body, and just because I feel like I'm used to it a lot of the time, and I don't want to like
Yeah,
go
that's
into
good.
work and be just like overwhelmed and feel like I can't think straight. So yeah, black coffee is completely fine.
Plus, too, you don't want to mess with your diet so much if
Mhm.
you get rid of everything. But
Yeah.
when you drink that water, you want to make sure that water's like filtered, good filtered water. You don't want to like be drinking like if your city has like tap water. You
Mhm.
need to like that actually
That's a good
matters
point.
so much. You want good, clean water when you're gonna
Mhm.
fast. But yeah, too, like don't feel like a failure if I didn't hit my goal and like I don't know, I felt like I was like gonna pass out and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
and
It's like
I would say like a
the Lord
3
sees you.
yeah, a 3-day fast isn't less holy than a 40-day fast. I feel
Yeah.
like people, they think that like they're gonna, if they fast for 40 days, they're gonna magically like trick God into blessing them. And I think we kind of do that with like generosity too, and legalism and like acts of kindness. Those are all great things. Don't get me wrong, but like really all we have to offer God is like humility and worship. So if you're doing fasting to try to like trick God into blessing you or
Mm,
giving you a word, I think that you might be doing it for the wrong reasons,
mm.
is what I would say. So like I said, it's case by case, like time by time fasting. A 3-day fast isn't less holy than a 40-day fast. It's not about like a number to brag about afterwards to all of your friends. It's really like the point of a fast is to get closer to God, make you more like Jesus, make you more humble, reliant on God, and like to see things how God sees things.
Hey, do you have anything else you want to share today?
Yeah, I want to touch on a little bit of like how to end a fast well. Because I know a lot of
Oh, that's
people who
good.
they end a fast and then they're like, all right, I'm going to eat as much as possible. I'm going
No,
to eat a
no,
huge
do not do
pizza.
that.
And really, I think that that could ruin all of the health benefits of the fast that you just did. I think that, people will want to eat big like sugary items and eat a ton of food, and I think that shows that like you have an unhealthy relationship with food, and you might be like idolizing food a little bit too much if you run right to it after a fast. So I would say eat something lighter. Like I've done research on it, like they say to finish a fast by eating like an egg, something light, or like chicken noodle soup, or an avocado, steamed vegetables, yogurt. They even say like stay away from fruit a little bit just because it's so acidic, and your body, it's already acidic. And if you're adding more acidity to your body after finishing a fast, that may be a bit unhealthy. But just like eat something light, eat something healthy. And then the next day, maybe think about like eating a bigger meal. And then maybe that
It
night,
takes
maybe
about a
you can
week
have a
to
bigger
like
meal.
to
Yeah.
get back to normal food.
Hmm.
Not only too for the health benefits too, but if let's say you go and crush a pizza, which honestly sounds amazing. So maybe I do have an unreally healthy
Yeah.
relationship with food. Um,
Maybe you're just hungry. You haven't eaten lunch yet.
no, I haven't.
Yeah.
I have homemade spaghetti meatballs at home. Anyway,
Anyways.
back to this. If you go and eat right away, like it's so bad, not just for the health reasons or anything you just said, but actually like you'll just like puke and diarrhea everywhere. Like your body just like doesn't know what to do. So you need to slowly ease your body back into eating. If not, your body will like freak out and
Hmm.
have stomach pains. And like I got lucky that one fast I did come home and I'm like I just ate a ton of food and I knew I wasn't supposed to, but I did it anyway.
Hmm.
And I only had stomach pain. Like like so blessed, so lucky to like just have stomach pains. But I know people like for days on end afterward, there's like their like whole intestine system is just messed up for like a week or two on end.
Yeah, that's crazy. And it's like if you're doing a fast and you feel like lightheaded, like sit down, maybe like take a second, like rethink through this stuff, like drink water, make sure you're drinking a ton of water.
Like
But
when you
it's like,
fast, you can't work 14-hour days. Like you
yeah,
just can't, you have to take it super chill.
yeah, it's like do everything with wisdom before even starting a fast. Like take it slow, do your own research, maybe consult a doctor. Just be wise about fasting. But I totally believe that like it's in the Bible. It talks about it a ton. Like people are fasting all the time. Important characters in the Bible, like main characters in the Bible, they're fasting, praying to God. And so I think it's like a rhythm that we can totally and should apply to our own lives and incorporate a bit more.
Any more wisdom for us today?
I think that's it. I think I'm good. You got anything else? We're good to close it out.
No, we're good.
All right, sweet. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. Give us a 5-star review on Spotify, like and subscribe. We really do this for you guys, and we've enjoyed it so much. So we'll see you guys next week.
See you.